From America's heartland, this is GJRB, Clinton, Iowa. The following is a GJRB podcast presentation.
From Clinton's Hy-vee supermarket, GJRB Online brings you the last 7 days in this world of chaos and upheaval. This is the program that puts it all into perspective. Now, the last 7 days.
Okay, I think we're going to get started. Ancient moon god monument unearthed in Israel. A structure once believed to form part of an ancient town is identified as a 5,000-year-old monument believed to have been used in honor of the Mesopotamian moon god Sin. 5,000-year-old stone structure in the shape of a crescent moon in northern Israel, which makes sense because northern Israel, because of the 12 tribes when they split. The 10 tribes up in the northern Israel always were pursuing other gods. Has been identified to be an ancient monument predating much of the construction of Stonehenge in England or the Great Pyramids in Gaza and Egypt. The structure it was initially discovered to be in the early part of the 20th century. It was thought to form part of the ancient city's defensive walls. It was actually a monument. One of the most important gods in Mesopotamian mythology, Sin, also known as Mana, is symbolized as a crescent moon and is often depicted riding a winged bull. Now, what's interesting about this is, I talked about this before, Mana. It's kind of interesting. If you take a look at Genesis 11, 28, 31, and 33, Haran, which is Abraham's younger brother, and was Lot's father, died, and then they moved to Haran. Terran, which was Abraham's father. Abraham and the family moved to Haran also. There was probably the younger son was named after the town. And what's interesting about this is Haran was the center for the worship of the moon god, Sin, S-I-N. So
good name.
Yeah. So early on in Abraham's life, or Abraham's life, he saw sin in the city. And so when he gave Lot the choice of picking either the wilderness of Israel or the pleasant valleys of Sodom and Gomorrah and that valley area, Lot chose that, and then eventually moved into the city, and Abraham stayed out of the city, and so because his father died in the city of Sin, and Lot almost ended up doing the very same thing, and so Lot's father was named after a city that was a center for the worship of the Mesopotamian moon god Sin, and then now they've found an ancient monument in northern Israel, which, as I said, makes a lot of sense because they never had a godly king when they divided up. So it's kind of interesting.
About the 10 nations, to the north, and how they were always pursuing other gods. The same thing happens here in this country, and everywhere. People are always pursuing some other god of some kind. So I guess, this was a handy thing for them. Moon god.
Yeah. Moon god, yeah. So
we got our handy things too.
Which is which is interesting because the symbol is a crescent moon, and it's same area where Mesopotamia and Babylon and then Islam came from. They just did something new in Israel. They've changed the nationality of Christians that live in eastern part of Israel. Instead of calling them Arab Christians, they are now Armenian Christians. Armenian Christians. And there is 160,000 of them.
Wow.
So is that guy?
Were they from Armenia at all?
Well,
because Armenia seems that's somewhat north of there, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the area of Azerbaijan.
The person that's kind of in charge of them, that it's become like a political group. They're made up of Orthodox, Greek Catholic, Sinaitic Catholic, but they're just Christians that live on the eastern side of Israel, and they don't like being called Arab Christians because they have no connection, but evidently they have a connection to Armenia of some sort, but they're called Armenian Christians now, no longer. New nationality.
I really don't know much about Calvinism and Armenian. Are they anywhere? Just because they call them, are they have those kind of viewpoints, or do you know about that?
No.
It's just they happen to be close to it.
Yeah. They have some sort of connection to Armenia. Chief rabbis decry Old City mass Christian prayers inside of Israel. Ever since July, we've been talking about this. In July, the Pope visited and prayed at the Tomb of David, and then on Sundays they've taken over the site, which is actually against the law, but Israel gave them special permission. Now they're going to have and I don't know anything about this, but there's going to be a mass prayer on the western wall, eastern wall. Is it eastern wall? I think it is eastern wall.
That's western.
It's the western wall,
I think.
And so their Jewish rabbis are upset by it because it's the chief rabbinate of Israel, together with the rabbis of the Derek Una Foundation organization, rabbis of Jerusalem's Old City, have launched a campaign against a new mass Christian prayer initiative on the southern wall of the Temple Mount. For the first time since the liberation of the Old City in 1967, Six-Day War, the Christian groups are reportedly poised to hold a prayer service for the return of Jesus on the morning of Hoshana Rabbah. And that's Rosh Hashanah. That's kind of interesting.
Again, it's like
Jesus is going to return on that day this year.
Well, Christians seem to believe that. I mean, there's good evidence to believe that, but it's about as good as any day, I suppose. But so they're praying on the Western Wall during Rosh Hashanah. Here's something interesting from England. 2 London chefs are trying to come up with a burger that tastes like human flesh. Oh, jeez.
Why not go for the real thing?
So they've consorted cannibalistic people in the past, and so they're 2 chefs in London are trying to come up with a burger that tastes like human flesh. And then there's all kinds of quotes from
You'd have to wonder
past
if that would
cannibals.
cause people to be cannibalistic.
Yeah.
Think about it. Doesn't it just cause people to be cannibalistic?
Yeah. Amid controversies, Emmanuel drops plan to name school after Obama.
Yeah.
You heard about this? Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
You guys sleeping all right? Can I use your glass of water or anything?
You know what? I think I did bring my cup right here. You got your cup. There it is.
Well,
Thank you.
Do you want ice?
Mayor.
Water's fine. We'll give her with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's pretty cool.
Mayor Rahm Emanuel tried Thursday to make amends with black voters who helped put him in office but abandoned him in droves after he closed a record 50 schools in the south and west side. He dropped plans to name a new selective enrollment high school on the near north side, bankrolled by a $60 million in tax and incremental financing TIF money after his former boss, President Barack Obama. What happened was Rahm Emanuel's come in here and he's closed down 50 high schools, which in bad neighborhoods in the south.
Yeah.
And west sides, and he's moved them out of the area to nicer neighborhoods, and has to bus everybody.
I bet somewhere in his campaign there was, if you like your school, you can keep it.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, the black community is upset because they don't have any schools, high schools in their neighborhood anymore. So he's building these nice new schools and busing people in.
That'll save a lot of money.
And they they've built 20, I think they've built 20 so far. They're building 20, I think. And they wanted to name this one after President Barack Obama, but the people objected. They didn't want him to be named this school.
I can't understand why. The biggest selfie in America.
So, kind of interesting.
If I sent it to you, it was like an email came to me with like the biggest, the most whatever, and it's like the tallest building in the world is in Dubai. So that tower. So like the largest building is the Chicago Mercantile. It's supposed to be the largest building in the world, and the biggest this and biggest that, and then the very last one was a picture of Obama, the biggest liar in the world. You never saw it coming in.
They took a poll and found out that 1 out of every 4 Americans are open to secession. The failed Scottish vote to pull out from the United Kingdom stirred secessional hopes for some in the United States, where almost a quarter of the people are open to their states leaving the Union. A new Rutgers poll has found some 23.9% of the Americans polled from August 23rd through September 16th said they strongly approved or tended to support the idea of their states breaking away, while 53.3% of the respondents strongly opposed or tended to oppose the notion. So about 1 out of every 4 people are open or strongly for leaving the United States.
One of those are Texans. Oh, sure.
The urge to sever ties with Washington cuts across party lines and regions. Through Republicans and residents of rural western states are generally warmer to the idea than Democrats and Northeasterners, according to the poll. By region, the idea is least popular in New England, the cradle of the Revolutionary War, with just 17.4% of the respondents open to pulling their states out. The most popular is in the Southwest, where 34.1% of the respondents back the idea. The region